This is a brief run through of the expectations for the marketing planning pitch document. The idea of this assessment piece is to give you an opportunity to put forward the product idea you'd like to work on for your marketing plan. I'm doing this early so that you can get the feedback, and you should think of this exercise as one for which you are rewarded because there are points involved, but also one which is set up to guide you and help you deal with the larger assessment task that's coming up in terms of the marketing plan. So the components of this particular exercise have been outlined. There is a template document sitting up on the Moodle site, and the key elements, there's a 10% introduction, and think of the weightings also in terms of the amount of time, effort, energy and words you should spend. So you don't want to spend a lot of words on the intro. I don't want to be surprised. It's not a murder mystery. I want to have all the spoilers that I need to know up front in the introduction. On the product offer, what you are going to do in this section. So this is 40%. This is a big portion of the word count. And you've only got 1,500 words, so you're going to have to draft and redraft a few times. But I want you to tell me about this product that you're going to offer. Now, I want you to use marketing theory to do this. I want to be able to read this section and go, so that's what the product is, and this is the framework that you intend on using. And there are lots of available options for you. So inside the text alone, chapters 1, 2, 9 and 10 spring to mind immediately. The definitions of marketing. The AMA has the offerings that have value. The CAM talks about anticipate, identify, satisfy. There's a section on consumer behavior which talks about wants and needs. There is a section on new product development. There's a section on product. There's the core, actual and augmented product. There is plenty of theory. There are plenty of frameworks for you to use to describe what it is you're going to offer. Now, I also want to know what it is you're actually going to offer. So if you're going to be selling t-shirts, you should tell me it's a t-shirt. If you're going to be selling a product, if you're going to be making a product, you should be giving me enough information so I know what your product actually is. So what the actual product is, what its features are, what its core product is, what is the benefit that is going to be derived by the audience, and any augmentation you intend on doing. The augmentation you probably don't need to put as much work into, but the core is the absolute central heart of this project. What is the offer that is valuable to your audience? The second part of the paper is you are going to tell me about that audience. Now here's where you can write this assignment in linear or non-linear. You can write the assignment where you write up the target market section first, then you come back and explain the product, or you write up the product first and then you go and explain the target market. Either way, both sections need to relate to each other. So in the target market section, you are being asked to, again, draw on theory. There are 3 chapters that spring to mind immediately. Chapters 3, 6 and 8. Straight off the bat, those are in play. I'm going to ask you to give me a reasonably broad market and 3 target markets that reside within that broader market. Now I want those target markets to be specific. I want them to be fairly narrow. I want you to pick one of those target markets. So I want there to be a choice, I want there to be some options, and then I want you to specify. Now the reason I'm asking you to do this is that this will demonstrate your decision-making skills. This will also reassure me that you have thought through alternatives, and this will also create a set of alternatives so that if you are producing your marketing plan and you're getting a long way down the marketing plan and starting to get stuck because this market isn't as good as you thought it was, or this target wasn't as good as you thought it was, you can go back to your original document, to your original pitch, and pick one of the alternates that you have up your sleeve. So the more you think through your three choices, the easier your marketing plan becomes. You have a backup. The other element that I want you to address in here is I want you to think from the point of view of the consumer, what is the competitive advantage that your product has in addressing this audience? So this is one of your big challenges. You are going to pitch a solution to a market, and in this section you're going to describe the market and how your solution, embodied in that core product, has a competitive advantage for this group. What is their reason for buying what you're offering? The last part of the document is the closest thing that there is to a trap in here. I want you to tell me about your preferred marketing strategy. You're going to use chapters 2 and 4, possibly even a little bit chapter 10. Tell me about the product market opportunity. Tell me about the state of the marketplace where you're in terms of your product life cycle and what that's going to force you to do, what you have to do because you're in that part of the product life cycle, and what sort of strategy. And you're only going to spend 150 words on this. This is again a reassurance argument. This is making certain that you can see that from the decisions that you have made in terms of offering a product, then targeting an audience, then declaring the strategy, that you are consistent in your decisions. You may find it easier to pick your strategy first, then your audience, then your product, or your strategy, product, and audience. You can make these decisions in the order that you find most useful, but what I want you to do is I want you to document them in this sequence. I want you to tell me what you're offering, who you're offering it to, and what strategy that represents. I am going to ask for you to use references throughout the piece. That is a requirement to make life easier for you. Just working backwards. The Ansoff matrix means that there's an automatic citation. If you're going to use product lifecycle, there's something to cite there. You head back up in the target market, you're talking segmentation. Segmentation has segmentation strategies. There are elements to cite and support there. If you're going to talk about targeting, citation. In the product offer, the product model itself, citation. It's a theory, it's a framework. The product attributes probably don't need citation if it is talking about your own product, but certainly gives you the opportunity to discuss in theoretical terms what it does. And also on target market, one of the other elements to consider is that when you are describing the target market in terms of consumer behavior theory, you have additional areas to use citation. So what you are being presented here is an opportunity to think through what are the ideas that you have learnt thus far in 10 chapters of marketing that you can bring to addressing this particular challenge, and the citations make it easier. The citations means that instead of having to go and discover theory from scratch or improvise and make it up entirely as you go along, you can build on what already exists. That's why you're asked to use citations and reference, because it makes your assignment easier.